Good evening. I would like to share a book with you, but first I'd like to talk about natural light and how in the evening when we're trying to relax, calm down, and get ready for bed, that one of the worst things we can do is have all the blue light from electronics and LEDs blaring into our eyeballs. So, one thing that I really like doing is putting the lanterns on and turning off the other lights. Down here in my clinic, I don't have LEDs, so all I do have is the lanterns, and it gives us such a relaxing, cozy experience every time I have birth classes down here. As the women are walking in, they're like, "Oh, I love it. It's so cozy." And I just love this space because all I have here are the lamps and it's so relaxing. Um, so, just wanted to mention that and then talk about this book, Birthing the Easy Way by Sheila Stubbs. It was very instrumental in my becoming interested in being a midwife. I read it as I was pregnant with my first child, and it was so eye-opening because I read it right after I read What to Expect When You're Expecting, and it was a night and day difference. So different. This book, it talks about how normal birth can be. And Sheila writes it from a first person perspective. She's had a C-section, followed by a hospital VBAC, followed by a birth at home with a midwife, followed by an unplanned, unassisted, somewhat unplanned. You got to read the book to hear the story. And then followed by a doctor assisted birth with her last. And she just brings so much wisdom and experience. And it's a book like none I've ever read before, because so many books are written from the perspective of a midwife, but this is really from the perspective of a mom, and she's being so open and honest with us in this book. I really encourage you to buy it and read it or find it at your local library, because this book is foundational to how I see birth as normal. And I really encourage anybody who's either thinking about becoming involved in helping women give birth, or also parents. I really encourage you to get this book as well, just to see what normal can be like, because too much of what we see on TV is not normal, and we really need some normal in our brains before we start looking at what possibly isn't normal in birth. So I really encourage you to get this book. I've bought, I think, 10 copies to hand out to people, and I have it in my lending library. And if you contact Sheila Stubbs directly, usually the best way, I think, would be through Facebook. Yeah, that's her name. And she'll just, you e-transfer her and she'll send you the money. I also think somewhere in here she had a mailing address that you can, I'll look for it. I'll put a link to it in the comments.